sure there's a lot of filmmakers in the audience, and you said something that perhaps a lot of people that make films can sort of resonate with a little bit. You said at some point you have to step back and let the story tell itself, and to some extent, the film starts dictating what gets left in the cut and what gets pulled out. Could you tell us more about that aspect of making it? To what extent you had to sort of like surrender to the two voices? You mentioned two fascinating clips that you chose to lose out. One was that a clip that would give the full scale of the Vahidi movement, and then another one which would maybe make that voice in the film seem a little too daunting, a little too scary, and then it's harder, and it's a harder voice to actually hear, right? If you see how it's how big the movement is and things like that. And another one was the one girl who was in the camp who rejected the teaching, and that might then undermine that voice. So it's kind of like you wanting to give a fully rounded perspective might have wanted to put those clips in there, but the film itself was saying, no, maintain the sort of purity of these voices, something like that. Is that how it went?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just, I guess specifically with the girl who, who kind of who outright sort of rejected the teachings, she was extraordinary, but in some sense what she did, having her in there, she just became another character, another voice, and, the more characters you add, you have to subtract from the depth of the other people, So if I had her, I'd have to give up something of Prachi, and Prachi was so critical. And also, I think with her specifically, she might have actually undermined the potency of Prachi's epiphany, at the end when she says, "Yes, I know, I'm doing this because I have no choice," essentially. So, I'll tell you about I'll speak to a little bit about the process of making the film. We had so much footage, because I'd been shooting for over 3 years, and because I didn't know whether I was going to have access to the Durgavaini camp, I was actually filming with Milan. Do you remember? So I was filming with a guy who was part of the Bajrang Dal, and then eventually became part of the Shiv Sena, the Yuva Sena, and we had incredible material with him, just incredible material. But we, of course, had to lose. We had to lose him. And so what my editor and I did was we also had feminists. We had sort of the feminist voice in some sense to kind of give those two extremes a greater sort of context. We had to lose them as well. So it was really kind of a process of elimination. So my editor and I kind of really watched, we watched a lot of footage and lost a lot of great characters and material, and just kept kind of whittling it down, and it really did. It just kind of told us what it was going to